Wilt Chamberlain quotes, "Everybody pulls for David, nobody pulls for Goliath." Arguably the greatest basketball player ever. Arguably the greatest athlete in any team sport ever. Arguably the greatest all around talent to emerge in any sport, period. Because when you talk about Wilton Norman Chamberlain, you're talking about a guy that was a rare specimen of talent. And you talk about someone who transcended. People can't even believe the dominance he had. They can't even put it into perspective. And when you talk about it, they are like numb because his numbers were mind numbing. What, 100-point game and 50 rebound game and 50-25 season scoring. And just an incredible dexterity of talent. Not to mention one of the strongest guys ever. The all around talent. If you want to use Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds as a statement, I don't care what nobody says. He's the greatest homer hitter player I've seen. And them stats ain't no joke. You can say what you want. Hand-eye coordination, don't lie. Wilt Chamberlain, hand-eye coordination, don't lie. However you want to call it. Whoever you look at with stats, etc., he was a standard. And for my money and what I've observed, he was more gifted than Michael Jordan, more gifted than Shaquille O'Neal, more gifted than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Bill Russell's incredible defense got in the way. But in terms of a guy that was just like an incredible talent, spot on to what he could do, he was one of one. And there hasn't been another one like him. And before people people say stupid stuff like there were bartenders and bar stools and everybody else that was there and the size. No, you're put in your place for a reason and a time. And if you exemplify those areas exemplary to dominant, hey, that's what it is. So he was one of one, which he's still a standard to this day. So regardless of how many teams are around or the sizes, it's all about what you use with your skill set. And he used it. But what he said was so true. Everybody pulls for David, no one pulls for Goliath. When we have these all-time greatest players, which are stupid to have about one person or the other because you can't compare eras, you can't compare sizes, and you best put people as a group of one. That's how I look at it. So if I got him, Shaq, Kareem, Russell, and maybe Hakeem and Moses and maybe Jokic, if I have a top 6 or 7 all-time centers, those are ones. That's how I look at it. I can't get into all this that you represent this because it's not fair for different reasons. There's a whole lot of different reasons why you'll never get the definitive who's the greatest of anything. He had many scoring titles as Jordan, and he stopped scoring. They had the same scoring average for a career. Jordan's got more championship rings, but can't sit there and say that anything else that he did was better than Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain did something Michael Jordan never did and led the league in assists near his end of his career. So, again, we can't say you'll be speculating and you might get your feelings hurt, but they never root for the big man. They talk about how Shaq was the most dominant, but they all loved up on Kobe. But, hey, if you dominate, to me, you the better because you're controlling the tempo, you're controlling the way. Wilt Chamberlain was dominant, controlled the way. It's just that he went up against a Bill Russell who was the greatest defender and with a great team with him. And sometimes you run into something like that. But don't use somebody's size or something to say that someone's less than. That makes no sense at all. Greatness is greatness, period, no matter what. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm at one time. Peace.